Let's be real. The most dangerous lies are the ones that we tell ourselves to survive. And one of the most common ones that I hear from women coming out of an abusive relationship, he doesn't mean to hurt me. That's not the only one. If you've ever thought, maybe it's my trauma making this worse. Everyone has issues. If I just explain it better, maybe then he'll understand. He's not abusive. He's just avoidant. You've already faced the need for reality testing. And I know that these thoughts seem rational, maybe even self-aware, but when you're in the middle of this really harmful dynamic that happens in an abusive relationship, especially one with psychological abuse like gaslighting, manipulation, or betrayal, it never leads you to clarity. It leads to self-doubt, and it's the thing that keeps you stuck. So today we're going to walk through the process of reality testing, which is a CBT technique, and it's a tool that's going to help you get from fear to truth. We're going to introduce some logic in because that's what you need. Now I'm going to walk you through it using this one belief as an example. Maybe he doesn't mean to hurt me. I'm Lisa Sunny. I am a toxic and abusive relationship expert. I'm the creator of the Break and Rebuild method, and I help women untangle trauma bonds, rebuild self-trust, and just see things clearly again after being gaslit into the ground. So if that's where you are, hit subscribe. I don't sugarcoat. I don't sell empowerment fluff. I teach women how to clearly see and choose themselves, even when it's hard. So let's get into it. Before we start, though, I want to say this. Reality testing does not come easy, especially after you've been through emotional abuse, because when someone has kind of twisted your whole perception for so long, they've told you that you're crazy, too sensitive, impossible to please, your first instinct when something feels off isn't going to be to ask, is this abuse? It's going to be, is this me? So reality testing is a way to kind of break that cycle. It's a skill, not a personality trait, and it gets stronger the more you use it. So if this doesn't resonate after listening to it once, save this video, watch it again. Okay, so step one, name the thought. Now the thought that we're working with is, maybe he doesn't mean to hurt me. This usually shows up after something painful, right? A betrayal, some kind of mean comment, the silent treatment. Your mind rushes in to make it kind of softer, more palatable for you. Because the alternative, that he does know that he hurts you and he just keeps doing it anyway, that is too much to hold. So if you've been gaslit, even recognizing a thought as a thought instead of just accepting it as truth, that's hard. I completely understand that's hard. You have been trained to second guess yourself. Reality testing kind of starts with naming the belief and being willing to investigate it a little bit further, no matter how crappy it feels. Now, step two, ask for evidence. Let's test it, okay? What's the evidence that he doesn't mean to hurt you? Has he acknowledged your pain? And I don't mean like he said sorry, but he owned it. Real accountability sounds like, I see how that affected you. You're right. That was wrong. I take full responsibility. Now, fake accountability sounds like, I said I was sorry. What more do you want? I said I was mean. Okay, I admitted it. God, you're overreacting. Why are you still bringing this up? Okay, so lasting change, that's what really matters. We don't measure intent by how many tears this guy's going to shed, right? We measure it by behavior over time, not, oh, it's been 2 weeks. Real change looks like he stops the behavior, he respects boundaries, and this is key, he doesn't need praise for doing the bare minimum. I haven't even yelled at you for a week. Do you want a balloon? Fake change looks like 2 nice days after some kind of fight or blow up. It looks like a gift to shut you up. It looks like not yelling this time. He's a little bit calmer than usual and it feels different, but it's not really different. Ask yourself, has anything actually changed? Or are you just being love bombed again? And if you don't know, that's enough to sit with. Now, this step is hard because it kind of demands brutal honesty. And maybe not even about him, but what you've been willing to accept, what you've called hope. Okay, so step 3, we're going to consider other explanations. This is actually where it gets really uncomfortable. What if he does know that it hurts, but he does it anyway, just to keep control? What if I didn't mean to is just his way to avoid the consequences of what he did? What if he doesn't actually care enough to stop because your pain doesn't inconvenience him? Listen, we all want to believe that harm only comes from monsters, right? It's the bad guys. It's the worst guys. He's got to be evil or else he's a good guy. But the truth is, most harm is done by people who are kind of indifferent, entitled, emotionally lazy. So why do you assume that his heart is good just because his fists are clean, right? Make it make sense. This is a really tough step because women are trained, and frankly, by culture, religion, family, the list goes on, to give people empathy before discernment. But empathy without boundaries is a frigging trap. So step 4, check the emotional filter, okay? This is where your nervous system tries to sabotage the entire process. Ask yourself, am I clinging to this belief because I don't want to face what it means if it isn't true? Because if he does mean to hurt you, or he's just kind of indifferent to the fact that he does, then what? What does that mean about your relationship, your future, your choices, your family, about the entire story that you've built around your life? This is where that fear is going to completely cloud the logic, and grief kind of disguises itself as confusion. Sometimes that emotional filter is going to sound like, if he meant to hurt me, that makes me pathetic for staying. That makes me weak. If he meant it, then I was never special to him. If he meant it, then the whole relationship is a lie. These confusions feel, what I hear they feel is so unbearable that you'd rather just keep rewriting the story than face them. This clarity that you always hear people talk about, it feels so great to be clear. It actually doesn't feel good at all at first. It feels awful, right? It feels like heartbreak. And that heartbreak, though, it's the beginning of the freedom, but it doesn't feel like that when you're in it. You're feeling pain and you want to stop feeling pain. Unfortunately, you got to move through it. Step 5, we're going to zoom out, look at the overall pattern. Don't focus on last night. Focus on the last 6 months. Focus on the last 10 years. Ask, has this happened before? Do his mistakes always cost you and benefit him? His mistakes? Does he only shift when you're halfway out the door? That's not a mistake. That's maintenance. This whole thing, it's how he keeps his power. So if every time you trust him, he uses it against you, that's a pattern. Every time you speak up, you're punished. Control. If the apology only comes when he's afraid of losing you and then it's just gone as soon as you settle back into the relationship, that's not guilt. You have to see this for what it is. It is his strategy. And I've had clients say, he's sweet 30% of the time. Okay. And the other 70%, the truth is the percentages don't matter. Is it peace or is it punishment? Like if you were continually being hit by the same car, would you keep checking to see if it was an accident? Or would you get out of the damn road? Step 6 is test the reality. So I want you to try this. Tell him calmly, that really hurt me. Watch and see what he does. Does he validate you or take responsibility? Does he apologize? Are there strings attached if he does apologize? Does the behavior actually change long term? Or does he just say you're too sensitive? Does he take kind of like fake accountability in the moment and things just go back to how they've always been? Does he turn it into an argument? Is that argument about you and your behavior? Do you get punished with silence? Do you get defensiveness? Because listen, if telling the truth gets you punished, you've already tested the reality, right? He's not confused at all. He's consistent, which actually I appreciate the consistently awful ones because it's much clearer. Now, this step, number 6, it is kind of especially hard when you've been trained to be afraid of conflict, right? So you kind of change your words, you apologize for having needs, you might backtrack the second he gets cold because you want that warmth again. Listen, reality testing, it doesn't mean that you're performing the bravery. It actually just means you step back, you kind of observe the outcome, and then you trust what it shows you. We want to really be able to see this clearly. So step 7, you recenter yourself. Now that you've tested the thought, you have to replace it with one that centers your safety, not his feelings. So try something like, whether he means it or not, I'm being harmed. I don't need to prove intent to make a decision. I'm allowed to leave a relationship that keeps hurting me. I know these things seem really obvious, but I know that when you're in it and you're feeling very confused and you're not sure of what's up and what's down, these statements are going to be really helpful and ground you. If this is the part of the whole system where you start to feel really shaky and nervous and anxious, if this is the part where you feel like you start justifying his behavior again, that's okay, because this part takes a lot of practice. After being trained to just focus on his intent and his pain and his reasons, you're putting the spotlight back on yourself. That feels selfish to a lot of people. I hear that a lot. And it's interesting because a lot of people will be like, girl, be selfish. That's okay. Be selfish. This isn't selfish. I think people actually have an aversion to being selfish. And what we need is to not say be selfish, but to see this as not selfish at all. This is survival. You need to not allow yourself to continually get sucked in, and you need tools for that. It's easy to say, don't go back or just leave, but you need steps. So let's wrap this up. Let's go back to your roadmap, okay? 7 steps of reality testing. Step 1, name the thought. Step 2, ask for evidence. Step 3, consider other explanations. Step 4, check the emotional filter. Step 5, kind of zoom out and look at the pattern. Step 6, test the reality. Step 7, recenter in the truth. And you can apply this process to any thought that you're holding on to, not just, he doesn't mean to hurt me. You can use it for things like, maybe it was just a fight. Maybe I'm too damaged to have a healthy relationship. Maybe I deserve this. You don't. You're not broken. You have been conditioned. If this helped you, this is exactly what we do inside the Trauma Bond Recovery course, where I teach my full break and rebuild method. There, we're going to go deeper, not just into the psychology, but step-by-step processes of detaching, rebuilding your identity, self-validation, and just finally feeling safe again in your own mind, in your own life. You don't need more time. Time doesn't heal all wounds. It's what you do with the time. You need a method. And that's what I give you inside the Trauma Bond Recovery course. The link is below. Check it out and drop a comment. What is your most dangerous thought that you've been telling yourself? Don't forget to hit subscribe, because I make videos that name abuse for what it is, and I help you walk all the way out.